shape of it, and that really helps us. So if you're playing a basketball and you know a little bit of quadratic function, I believe you can able to know that, hey, when I stand here, hit it this very high, it will always go to the net. And the same goes for those who play golf ball too. And in a more advanced, when you're doing the rocket, when they are doing rocket launch, the computer will do that because this is more advanced. So the computer will do all that by using the idea of a quadratic function. We are going to go into solving a quadratic function. There is a whole lot of ways, a whole lot of methods that will help us to solve this quadratic function, and we're going to look at all of them as we move along. All right, so solving a quadratic function by factoring, then we have graphing by calculator, and then completing the squares and the quadratic formula. We will be looking at all of them as we are moving along, but today let's go ahead and solve by factoring. A factoring method. Factoring in such a way that is coming from the factors. Factors mean the multiplication. Okay, so the process, we have x squared plus 3x minus 10x equals to 0. Always you're looking for two numbers that multiply to give you the c. Here the c is -10. So you're looking at what are the numbers that multiply to give you 10, which is 1 and 10. Since this is a -10, one of them have to be negative. So you do this way, and then another one you divide this by 2, then you get 2 and 5. One of them have to be negative. You can put a negative here. And then when you add the number, you have to give you the 3 here. You have to give you the b part of it. Okay. So here, since the coefficient is 1, all that you do, you write your x and you write another x here. You're waiting for the factors to put it right here. So here we realize that the factors that can add up to give you the 3 is this one. When we add this, we got that. When we add this one, we don't get this. We get rather 9. So it does not satisfy this equation. So we cannot use this one. So we have to use these two numbers. So since this is the factors, you put them here, which is -2, and here plus 5 here. So these are what we call, these are the factors. This is the factors. So when we set it up equals to 0, which will give us the flip of it. So x minus 2 equals to 0 implies that x is equals to the flip, the opposite of this number, which is 2, or x plus 5 equals to 0. That will give us the flip of that number, which is x is equals to -5. So these two numbers is what? The solution. The solution to this quadratic function. The solutions have a lot of names. It can be called x-intercepts. The zeros, sometimes we call it the zeros, or some people call it the roots. all of them means the same. So we have able to solve when it's in the parentheses here. It's called a factors, and when you flip it, the switch of it, when you set it up equals to 0, that gives you the solution. So let's look at another example. We have x squared minus 12x plus 36. So you take the constant here, which is a c, and you look for the multiplication. So what are two numbers that multiply that give you 36? 1 and 36. You divide this by 2, and you see that it's 2, 18, and then you divide this by 2, and you see that it's going to be 3, 4, 9, and then 6 and 6. So you realize that you can manipulate this to get this here. Alright, so 6 times 6 is 36. So that's really good. You have to satisfy this. So I remember negative times negative is positive. So we can use this. Negative 6 times negative 6 give us positive 36. And when we add it, we get that. So as you said, you set it up. You set your 2 up here. We are waiting for the two numbers. Since it's x squared, we split 1x here, 1x here. We are looking for the factors. Yeah, so normally you can use a crisscross method, which is what 36 here. We realize that 6 times 36 give us that, and when you add, you have to give us this negative 12. So because of that, we have to put negative here, negative here. So once we know that numbers, we put it here. Okay, and then these are the factors of this one here, but the solution will be the flip, the opposite, which is 6 and 6. So you can say 6 because it's happened twice. So remember from the beginning we said that we are expecting two answers, but that is not always the case. Okay, we will look at one more example. Right, so we are going to consider one more example. Kind of right now, you're getting understanding of the process. So if we have x squared minus 2x minus 15 equals to 0, all that we are saying is that if we want to use a crisscross method, we take our c, which happens to be this, negative 15, and we are looking for two numbers, which happens to be the factors of this two numbers that you multiply, that you get 15 or negative 15, and when you add it up, you have to get negative 2. Okay, before then we have x squared, so we split it. And we are looking for the factors that will complete the factoring. So here are two numbers that will multiply to give us 15. It's 1 and 15, 3 and 5. But you know that we cannot manipulate 1 and 15 to get 2. So 1 and 15 might be out. 3 and 5 possibly. Since it's negative, one of them have to be negative. So we can able to make it happen. And here you realize that for us to add it to get negative 2, we have to put the negative right here. Okay, so when we add these two numbers, we get that. Now we're going to write it here. Most of the time when you're picking the number here, you put the lowest number. So the lower number is -5. It doesn't matter though, because multiplication is commutative, so it doesn't matter which over you write it first, you will still get the answer. Okay, plus 3. So this is the factors. So always read the question. If your teacher wants you to find the factors, you stop right here. If it is looking for the solution, or if it asks you to solve it, that means you're looking for the solution. So here you're setting each of them into 0. And what is happening is that, as you have learned from a linear solution, how you solve the linear solution, you see that it's going to be the opposite of this. So it's just going to be x equals to 5, or x equals to -3. So this will be the solution, or the zeros, or the roots, or the x-intercepts. Okay, I hope it helps. Have a great rest of your day.